Well, the final episode of WandaVision came and went, and it was the lowest rated episode out of the entire series, and there is also a lot of debate now between fans of the series whether the ending was disappointing or not and what people had expected to happen. So let's look at all the disappointment, the hype up, the things that were said, and ultimately why some people feel cheated by the ending. So the one thing that many people are pointing to as a disappointment is the fact that Kevin Feige said that when we get to the end of WandaVision, it's going to bring us into the Multiverse of Madness and this entire multiverse concept that it sets it up. And did he actually say that this is what was going to happen, or did we twist his words? Well, if we go back to when they announced it, what they recently said in December, no, it's exactly what they said. That it would lead into the upcoming third Spider-Man film, which is a multiverse film, because that's where they confirmed it, that it would set up elements that are going to play into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness and beyond. And they do that. I don't think people understand that the ending, the post-credit scene, and them setting up the chaos magic and everything is our gateway into it. But I think people were honestly disappointed because multiverses and things didn't converge into this series. Like, we didn't see all of that in front of us. This was a prelude to the comic book storyline. It was the Zero issue and not the part 1, which I think ultimately is why many people are disappointed with that. I found myself disappointed with the jarring way the episode presented itself compared to the rest of them, but that honestly was not one of my disappointments, which brings me to the next point of disappointment. And I saw this in our comments as well, and I wanted to just address it here, and that's the mutants. Why weren't mutants in this? Why didn't Magneto show up at the end? And that's something that I think was built up on expectations and rumors and insiders confirming things. And if you go back through the videos where I'm talking about this, I always say rumors are out there, there's a lot of talk, people are saying this and that, but again, I don't think it's going to happen, or maybe this could happen, but again, it seems like a long shot. That's what it ended up being, the long shot here, and it didn't happen. And I don't think, honestly, it's fair to grade the series as a failure or say that the last episode didn't deliver because Magneto showed up, because there was no setup to it. Had he shown up at the end there, he would suddenly have to do what everybody wanted from The Last Jedi, where Snoke sits there and he has to give you 10 minutes of explaining how he's a reincarnation of Darth Plagueis and this has all been a setup through the Old Republic and all this. That was just never going to work. I don't think that's honestly a fair point of complaining, because the story they were telling does not allow for that. That would have been one of the most jarring things available. But on the other hand, we had Quicksilver, we had Pietro Maximoff, except he turned out to be some random guy called Ralph Boner, and that was it. That was a waste. That was a throwaway. That was a joke. I can agree with everybody. Now, maybe it is, but maybe it's not. Because if we look at this series and how it plays off of some of the shortcomings of Age of Ultron and makes them stronger, they could reveal down the road that maybe she was pulling things out of the multiverse. Maybe Agatha was involved with it. Maybe things were playing out differently that we didn't see. Maybe this was the setup to the multiverse and she did pull some of these people from elsewhere, but we never had it explained in this. That might be explained somewhere down the road, honestly, and we just haven't seen it yet. So I think we have to wait on this one. It is disappointing. It's very disappointing that he was just a throwaway joke, and a bad one at that. And I'll agree with most people on that one. It just felt very wasted. Now, on the other side, many people are saying, well, maybe you were disappointed because you expected too much rumors, speculation, and all this. And you should have just expected, realistically, a small story that's about Wanda. And I think, ultimately, if you look at this, you get exactly that. You get a complete story. You get to see a Wanda story. You get to see how Vision evolves and what sets up the, multiverse and her powers. We finally got to spend time with this character. I just think that there was a lot of talk out there in regards to everything, including such a top secret cameo that it was going to blow people's minds, that this got everybody talking. And they legit stated it. Paul Bettany said it. Elizabeth Olsen said it. There was supposed to be a Luke Skywalker-sized cameo, so that got us all excited. What was it? It was nobody. I mean, that's going to lead to disappointment. if you're tuned into the nerd websites and YouTube and all that, you're disappointed. But if you look at the other side of it, of people that didn't know anything like that, they generally like it. So I think this really comes down to many of us nerds and, people that were tuned in somewhat being disappointed by some of these twists and turns. Again, not that I am, because I was never expecting a giant cameo myself, but it is something to note that maybe expectations were a little too high. Overall, yeah, there's a lot of people disappointed with the finale, and I think I understand why. It definitely felt different, for good or for bad.